A very good evening to you on this 5th day of June 2023. Trust you're doing well. We have so much lined up for you tonight, and later on we will be having a conversation on the controversial, let me call it controversial Finance Bill 2023 that is expected to be tabled before Parliament tomorrow for the first hearing. I'll be joined by a member from ISPAC that is playing a very critical role in the national budget. Let's first of all take a look at our highlights. Members of Parliament to resume sitting tomorrow to discuss the controversial finance bill as debate continues across the country. High Court certifies Okiya Omtatah's anti-finance bill petition as urgent. Kenyans in war-torn Sudan left stranded as government closes diplomatic mission. And Kenya joins the rest of the world in commemorating 50th World Environment Day at Nakuru National Park. All right, welcome to the broadcast. Sammy OKELLO is our sign language interpreter tonight. My name is ODIDA, and remember, we are streaming this broadcast live on our social media platforms at KUTV_Kenya. The hashtag is Primetime News. Let's get started. Now, former theatre and drama courses Kenyatta University lecturer Dr. Wasambo Were is dead. Were, who has taught in Kenyatta University since 1992, is reported to have succumbed to stroke in Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University Hospital in Kisumu County last year, has been eulogized by family, friends, and relatives. May his soul rest in peace. Now, Kenya has joined the rest of the world in celebrating World Environment Day 2023. The national celebrations for the environmental awareness and protection outreach was held in Nakuru National Park in a green event presided over by Environment Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya. The 50th anniversary calls for collective efforts in overcoming the ravaging effects of plastic pollutions. Joseph Oyomo with that report.
World Environment Day is an annual global event celebrated every 5th June to raise awareness and encourage action for the protection of the environment. This year marked the 50th anniversary of the celebrations, with attention focused on plastic pollution. The 2023 World Environment Day theme, Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, Honorable Soipan Tuya, who insisted on the need to preserve the environment through managing plastics and other wastes.
So whereas as part of the World Environment Day's commemoration, we aim to do a number of things, including taking stock of the country's road to tackling plastic pollution, showcasing available solutions to plastic pollution, creating a platform for public education and awareness on the ban on plastics, creating awareness on the need to reduce all forms of environmental pollution, elevating as a priority the environmental agenda in the country.
The area governor Susan Kihika led the team in tree planting as part of the efforts to protect and care for the environment, before interacting with various initiatives on plastic recycling actions.
Over the past few years, the water level in the lake has been rising due to high siltation and pollution due to solid wastes and effluent from the city. In short, the balance of life at this park, just like many in the world, has been altered by human activities.
According to the United Nations Environment Programme, Less than 10% of the plastic used around the world is recycled. 12 million tons of plastics are poured into the ocean every year, and a plastic takes more than 450 years to decompose. In its effort to support the environment, the government resorted to a 15 billion tree campaign, which aims to increase Kenya's tree cover from current 12.3% to 30% by 2032. Other dignitaries who graced the event were Environment and Climate Change PS Engineer Festus Ngeno, Forestry PS Mugambi Gitonga, NEMA Board Chairman Emilio Mugo, Nakuru County Governor Susan Kihika, among others. Joseph Oyomo, KUTV.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has today commissioned the launch of Police Divisional Headquarters and Police Post in Wundanyi, Taita Taveta County. Kindiki has urged police officers to maintain a good relationship with Kenyans, as well as urging Kenyans from all over the country to turn up in large numbers and submit their contributions to Presidential Task Force established to review the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations.
Police officers have been urged to maintain good relationship with citizens during the launch of Police Divisional Headquarters and Police Post commissioned by Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kindiki in Wundanyi, Taita Taveta County.
Wananchi wengi bado imani yao kwetu sisi maofisa wa usalama, bado imani ya wananchi iko chini. Kwa hivyo hatuna budi, lazima tujizatiti kurejesha uhusiano mwema wa kati yetu na wananchi.
Kindiki has also urged police officers to avoid taking bribes or face the law. He has called it an action that drags Kenya behind.
And I have spoken very strongly. The culture of corruption, taking money from the power, vyeo, tumetumia vyeo vyetu kunyanyasa wanyonge. Utosheke na mshahara wako.
Kenyans are, however, urged to turn out in numbers and submit their views to the Presidential Task Force that was assigned a task to review the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations. Kindiki, however, says that there is no turning back in the quest to clamp down on rogue preachers who are misleading their followers through indoctrination and religious extremism.
Mimi naomba watu ya dini washirikiane na serikali. Sisi tuko upande wenu. Serikali iko upande wa dini. Mtusaidie ndio tugundue wale wanawaharibia sifa yenu. And we are going to expose you and make sure we isolate you and give you the most severe punishment.
The third phase of Shakahole exhumation of bodies that resumed today will officially start tomorrow, directed by the Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki. Salma Swaleh, KUTV.
All right, Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Dr. Korir Sing'oei has announced that the government has ordered for closure of the diplomatic mission in Sudan, which remained open ever since the war in Sudan kicked off. In a statement, Korir explained that the closure was necessitated by the never-ending war that was targeting diplomatic missions, which remained open amidst wars to facilitate safe evacuation of Kenyans living there.
Dr. Korir, in his statement, said that the government continues receiving disturbing news of the targeting of diplomatic officials by armed groups in dialogue and humanitarian aid. However, the truce collapsed shortly after the army walked out of the agreement, accusing the paramilitary of not respecting the commitment. The government is expected to release a statement on the number of Kenyans remaining there and how they will be evacuated. About a month ago, Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs Dr. Alfred Mutua revealed that the government had made necessary plans to evacuate Kenyans to safety, which was the reason the missions remained open. In the beginning, more than 900 people were brought back home safely by a multi-agency operation involving teams selected from the Foreign Affairs and Defense Ministry. The warring factions in Sudan, which are the Sudanese Armed Forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support, have resumed war since the termination of the agreement between them, an action that is likely to risk the lives of Kenyans in Sudan. Ivy Bina, KUTV.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has today chaired the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council (IBEC) meeting at his current residence in Nairobi. The meeting, which was attended by several leaders, deliberated on a myriad of issues, key among them the issue of pending bills, which has proved to be recurrent. The DP also took the opportunity to urge the governors to support the housing program.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has once again reiterated his commitment to fight illicit brews and drug addiction in the country. While addressing governors during the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council Summit, the second-in-command stated that illicit brew consumption cases have escalated and will need a multi-sectoral approach to deal with. Gachagua further added that since the mandate of licensing alcohol business was transferred from NACADA to the county government, the illegal sales of illicit brews has grown, thus making it hard to arrest the perpetrators.
As it is, the matter is out of hand, and we are unable as a national government to police the distribution of illicit liquor because it's finding its way into licensed establishments by the county governments, and it becomes difficult to take action against people who are licensed.
Additionally, Gachagua claims that there is a great need for establishment of rehabilitation centers in each county so as to deal with the drug abuse pandemic.
We are asking the county governments to consider the establishment of rehabilitation centers in each and every county to deal with the patients. Even as we try to fight alcoholism and drug abuse, the truth of the matter is that quite a sizable portion of the population is addicted.
Gachagua has also taken the chance to urge governors to support the affordable housing program, citing that no
land for the affordable housing program to continue doing so that we can create affordable housing for our people.
Regarding the issue of pending county bills, Gachagua stated that the governors will have to hold committees to decide what bills are payable while also accounting for them.
There will be 1 week to share notes and compare with what the Controller of Budget has so that there can be a mutual agreement on what needs to be paid and what needs to be disregarded. Many governors have found huge bills that cannot be explained.
The Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council provides a forum for consultation and cooperation between the national government and county governments regarding the issue affecting counties. Ruth Wanjiru, for KUTV.
All right, now the second session of the UN Habitat Assembly kicked off in UN complex at Gigiri, Nairobi today with renewed hope for better housing and a long-term urban agenda. President William Ruto officiated the meeting, which comes in the backdrop of his housing agenda in the finance bill that has touched off a political storm in the country. Listen in.
The second session of the United Nations Habitat Assembly has begun today with President William Ruto officiating the conference. Universal housing is a crucial pillar of the national bottom-up economic transformation agenda to address some of the issues including economic growth and environmental sustainability. This follows an observation by President Ruto that half of Kenyans are expected to reside in urban areas by the year 2050.
Into the housing program, we have further mainstreamed sustainable urban practices of green building, green spaces, adoption of low carbon energy use, including low carbon transport solutions, as well as urban agriculture and effective waste management.
At the same time, President Ruto has claimed that Kenya had started to restore damaged ecosystems and landscapes as part of the Urban Resilience Program.
To these measures under our Urban Resilience Program, we are restoring degraded landscapes and ecosystems through a robust program, which includes increasing Kenya's tree cover from 12% currently to 30% by planting 15 billion trees over the next 10 years.
The second session for UN Habitat Assembly is to be
budget. The government has rallied its members of parliament to support the bill, while the opposition has actively called for its rejection. Take a look.
That is brought to you by PB.
After a month-long recess, members of parliament are set to deliberate on the Finance Bill 2023, This bill has sparkled heated debates and political maneuvering, with the government and opposition holding separate meetings to strategize and pursue their objectives. The finance bill introduces several provisions that impact 500,000 Kenya shillings and increasing the turnover tax rate from 1% to 3%. This change aims to broaden the tax base by including more small enterprises while reducing the number of medium enterprises subject to turnover tax. During the public participation exercise, the majority of interested groups disapproved the bill proposed by the government. The opposition has expressed its readiness to challenge certain sections of the bill during the parliamentary debates. Nation the balance, with Kenyans eagerly awaiting the outcome of the parliamentary deliberations. Patrick Oduor, KUTV.
Thank you, Patrick Oduor, for that report. Now, the High Court has certified as urgent a petition by Senator Okello Mtata, Busia Senator Okello Mtata, and 4 other activists to lock the proposed Finance Bill 2023. Justice Hedwig Ngudi said that the suit should be heard on priority basis as it raises tribal issues. She, however, did not bar the National Assembly from discussing and transmitting the bill to President Ruto for assent to become law. The judge has directed the senator and his counterpart petitioners to present the suit papers before the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndungu, and the Attorney General, Justin Muturi, within 3 days, with which they are to respond to the lawsuit within 7 days before June 19, 2023. In his petition... All right, it is 21 minutes past the top of the hour. We are taking our very fast short break at this point. Of course, you're coming back with an interview on this housing levy. Let's find out from another point of view. Stay tuned.
Maisha ni haya mwanaume ali. Sielewi yani hata neno moja. Yani tunasikia maboko likolo. Yani ukiniangalia tu huyu mwamba huyu anafiti sehemu fulani. Wewe ni wewe inakaa. Without your love, I can't move on. Yo, that's our boy Rhino the Don. Keep watching and listening.
Uncomfortable in the sense that you're not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Can Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
Kuruzi ya kilimo huimarisha afya na uchumi endelevu katika jamii. Ni msingi mkubwa wa kipindi Boresha Kilimo. Kipindi hiki kinajikita kuonyesha shughuli mbalimbali shambani kwa suluhu ya utoshelevu wa chakula. Tazama Boresha Kilimo.
Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have boxercise, we'll have kata box, just name them. Show comes every Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you. Let's be fit.
In a set gym, yeah, too hot like a heater. My neck done froze like winter. Don't bet it on liquor, yeah, straight to me, picture.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. kama ilivyo kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za tarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi. Baharini yani, ua linalonukia na kuvutia waridi tamu.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. Thank you so much for staying with KUTV Primetime News. Let's have a discussion of the night. Now, the Housing Fund Levy in the 2023 proposed finance bill has elicited debate since that bill was presented to Parliament on 4th May. And of course, there are so many contents contained in that bill, but tonight we will be focusing on the Housing Fund Levy, which has faced tremendous rejection from the opposition and of course a section of Kenyans, with others believing that it is indeed a way of salvaging. It will be a way of salvaging. And maybe you could take up from there. You work at ISPAC?
Thank you, Anne. I'll be able to clarify that. My name is CPO Wycliffe B. ISPAC, we've been very vocal. We've engaged with the National Assembly. First, what we did initially, once the finance bill was out, we went out and spoke to our members. We asked our members to give in submissions, tell us what they feel is right and what they feel is not right in this finance bill. We got recommendations, we got views from our members, that is ISPAC members, which we collated together and presented in form of a memorandum to the National Assembly. We did present to the Public Finance and Economic Planning Committee of Parliament our views, and it is our hope that as Parliament meets tomorrow, they will consider our suggestions.
All right, in your submission to before Parliament, what are some of the things that you want done in regards to the Finance Bill 2023?
There are quite a number. There are quite a number. I must say there are good things in that bill, but there are also other matters in that bill that we felt are quite unfair to the public, and we also felt that the government may not achieve a collection of taxes as they want through this finance bill. First is the issue of the very first one that all our members felt it will be very, very unfair to the taxpayers, is the issue of payment of 20% deposit when you appeal a matter to the High Court. We felt that that is unconstitutional. What is going to happen is that taxpayers are going to shy away from making appeals because paying 20% even before you start the case is very, very unfair and actually very unconstitutional. To even show you how unfair it is, the same bill exempts the commissioner when they appeal. So we're trying to ask, how fair is this? How are you going to exempt one party? Because when you appeal, we want you to assume that it is at level playing field, and if you're going to achieve a level playing field, then the same conditions should be able to apply. But the commission has been exempted, but that's not even the bigger issue. The bigger issue is why ask people to pay when you're going for justice? If I'm a taxpayer and I'm aggrieved by the decision done at the Tax Appeals Tribunal, I want to appeal. You're telling me to appeal first pay 20%. Are you not trying to construe that I'm already guilty? And that is why you want me to pay the 20%. We all know how long matters in the High Court can run, so my 20% will just be sitting in there. The bill says if they finally lose the case, that is KRA, if they lose the case, you will be paid back within 30 days. We all know how hard it is getting money from government, and we feel that is quite unfair. The second issue that was in our memorandum is the issue of the housing levy. We feel that it's not well structured. We feel that making it mandatory doesn't really make sense. We also feel that it is going to make taxpayers have a very big burden which they may not need to carry. And our recommendation was that throw away this housing levy, or if you have to have it, then make it voluntary. We also have other recommendations, particularly on issues of withholding tax, where you are now required to pay withholding tax within 24 hours. We feel it is going to have a burden on taxpayers. What is going to happen is that you need to have a way of making payments every time you pay your suppliers, and we feel that the ripple effect is going to be really big and a big burden to taxpayers, among other things.
All right, now, should your submission not be met by Parliament, the first hearing will be tomorrow. What are you going to do as an organization that submitted your memorandum regarding the finance bill?
And you need to understand that the process of public participation, that is where we came in as ISPAC, is in such a way that you provide submissions, then you expect reason to prevail. If reason doesn't prevail from the other side, we have, as ISPAC, we may not have much choice, but probably think of other ways of lobbying. Now, we have seen previously, we've done this previously. For example, the suggestion that is now in this finance bill on inflation adjustment is part of the submissions that we've done previously. It was not taken up last year, but then it came in this year. So we always have to carry this forward to the next available opportunity.
Which is?
In this case, it could be probably lobbying with other bodies out there, but also it includes giving this memorandum in the next period again.
All right. We all know that Busia Senator Okiya Mtata is against the finance bill, and he stated last week that there are 6 sections in that finance bill that violates the
constitutional right to move to court. We will wait to see how that goes. I think it will not make sense for ISPAC to move to court on matters like this, especially now that someone else has already litigated on the same. So I think all that we can do is hope for reason to prevail on this other side, but also hope that Senator gets a chance to be listened to by the courts.
All right, now much has been said about this housing fund levy, but from your point of view, what are the wins and losses for the ordinary taxpayer in regards to this levy?
In regards to the levy, there may not be many gains from where I sit, because if you think about it, we're talking of 3% subject to a maximum of 5,000 per contributor. So, and if you calculate it very fast, 5,000 for 12 months, we're talking of 60,000 for 1 year. 60,000 for 10 years, we're talking of 600,000. You tell me, Anne, which house are you going to get for 600,000 for 10 years, after contributing for 10 years? It does not really make much sense from that side. But if you look at it from the angle of the body that is collecting this money, the fund manager, he has a pool of a lot of money. Think of 5,000. Let's take a number of maybe 3 million workers in this country, because this is particularly for workers, people who are employed, because there's no modality for unemployed people or self-employed. Now, 3 million times 5,000 shillings, we're talking of 15 billion shillings per month. That tells you that it will make a lot of sense for the body collecting this money. But how are you going to achieve delivering houses to the individuals? Maybe there's a modality, maybe this is what the government has not come out to tell us very clearly. But from where I sit, we cannot really see. Because if you think about it, a house worth 600,000, which you must have waited for 10 years, really may not make a lot of sense.
All right. Now, the government says the housing fund is a saving and not a tax, really, and that someone who doesn't want to own a house will get back their contributions. Do you think it is guaranteed that that 3% deduction will be already put as a form of affordable houses? Houses will already be there. Will the people now get back their money? Is it guaranteed?
This is the question that it's not very clear, and this is what I'm saying, that the government really needs to come out and tell us more on this, because we cannot see the logic. 600,000, fine, back to what they're saying. After 7 years, you can withdraw. I think that's what they're saying.
Yes.
You can get back your money. So question is, there's what we call time value of money. So question is, at what rate? Because the bill does not talk about interest. It does not talk about how you're going to be compensated for the time they have held your money. So as we said, you're collecting 15 billion per month. Probably you put it in an investment, it gained money. Why don't you want to share that interest with the contributors? They've only spoken of getting back a refund. Now, if I give you 2 shillings today, you stay with it, give it back to me in 7 years' time, the value will not be the same. And so they need to talk about the compensation for inflation plus interest. How is that going to happen? Back to the question that do I think it is going to happen? We are told trust your government. I don't want to cast aspirations, but highly unlikely.
All right. When on the better side, they say that with the housing fund levy, it will create job opportunities for Kenyans, and the government is aiming to build 200,000 houses. Don't you see that indeed this is a way of salvaging the job opportunity in Kenya for the youth with this housing fund levy?
The thing is that we are still constructing houses for ourselves, and people do not have as many jobs as possible. We also know that we have people trained in various arts. So what happens to people who are not in the construction industry? I think it is very simplistic by talking about creating jobs through the housing fund. My idea will be, let's first structure the fund well. Let's have very clear, because as an accountant, I love to see a process. I love to see this is how it is going to happen. Money is going to move from here, go here, make this happen, make that happen. And this is what we're asking for. Can we understand the process? If the process has not been defined well, define it well. Instead of making it very simple that we are creating jobs for the youth, we need to see it first on paper before we actually move there.
Now, the government has indeed campaigned for this housing fund levy, but Kenyans still have sided opinion about it. They're not still convinced. So what better way? I understand that the principal secretary for housing fund, that is Charles Hinga, took to the media and really tried to explain this housing fund levy.
And he struggled. He struggled to explain.
He did. So what better way? What can be done to make it simplified and easier for Kenyans to know that indeed they are safe with this housing fund levy?
My suggestion will be that we need to start from the bottom. The government needs to come to the public, ask the public what they really want, ask the public how they want it, and also take that time to explain how they think is going to happen. As you rightly put, the PS struggled to explain. You could see he even had to sweat in a cold afternoon. That tells you there are things that are not very clear. There are things that really need to be thought through. There's that process, again, as I said. We need to see that process, and it needs to make sense. Otherwise, there's going to be opposition from the public, and rightly so, because this is their hard-earned cash.
Is there really time for opposition to really now reject this, housing fund levy or just finance bill in general, because I understand yesterday the Wiper Democratic leader, that is Kalonzo Musyoka, said the government should have funds by 30th June so that the government can run. And then again, the public was already engaged on matters finance bill. Is there really time to still engage the public on their views on this housing fund, considering that there are legislatures leaders who say that there will be nothing to be amended in that finance bill 2023? So does the people's opinion really matter in this point?
And to me, that is the most unfortunate situation, where we have high-ranking government officials saying, you cannot amend this. You cannot do this. It has to go as it is. That's very unfortunate, because you then wonder, why engage this in public participation? In my view, the designers of our constitution, where they clearly said matters like these have to go through public participation, the intention was to have input from the public, so that if the public is uncomfortable, that matter is shelved for another day. And that is the right thing to do. The housing levy, for instance, has received opposition from everyone. It could be their right, we are wrong, but we're asking, can you educate us? Can we get to have more information? And in my opinion, time we have, all that needs to happen is that the finance bill goes in through amendments, clauses like housing levy, clauses that we have opposed, for example, the issue with the tax appeals tribunal, the issue with appeals to the High Court on tax matters. Those ones should be left out. Then they can always be brought back at a later date after proper participation. And the housing levy, for instance, maybe there's a better way we can structure, because we all want to have houses. We all want to live in better houses. We totally agree. But is there a better way that we can do this? I believe there's a better way. I believe we have people out there who can give good suggestions. Don't rush it. And remember, we're bringing in this housing levy after we've increased the NSSF, the new rates coming up for NHIF. What is the hurry for? Can we wait for a little bit, handle these matters step by step? Maybe the public is going to buy in.
All right. Now, I understand in the previous regime, the housing fund levy was made voluntary. But could there be any possibility that this year's housing fund levy proposal is a way of deviating from the different ways that previous regimes have been doing it? What do you think is different for 2023? Why is there so much pressure to make it compulsory?
My view is that the current regime views, remember, it's always good to remember where we've come from. There's a time the president said he does not believe in foreign borrowing. I strongly believe the president has seen a way to create a pool of funds, and so that they are able to spend, they are able to borrow from that fund and run government to avoid external borrowing. That's a possibility. I could be wrong, but that is what I think the push for compulsory housing levy.
Now, all right, as we wind up, of course, just elaborate to us a bit on Caution Fund, which is meant to woo investors. Now, if investors come in and invest in the housing program, what happens to the funds raised from the levy by Kenyans?
My understanding is that the fund cushions those investors, so they know that there's a security put in place. But question is, and these are some of those things that have not been made clear, question is that at what point do those investors make their money? At what point does someone then pay them back for the money they put into the project? Those are some of the things, and that we're saying need to be made very clear before we really go in and say, yes, the levy makes a lot of sense and we are all adopting it.
Now, the government also says, now we are winding up, the government also says that with the housing fund levy, it is a way of bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. Is it really realistic to think about it now as an accountant? Is it possible?
It doesn't make sense at all as an accountant. I can authoritatively say that. It doesn't make sense, because are we then saying, you pull this money, we're going to make houses, give them to the poor? If we give you a house and you are poor, does that mean you have increased, or rather you've upgraded your stature? Are we measuring poorness or richness through ownership of a house? I do not think so. So if we said that we are raising money for whatever reason and maybe we're eradicating slums, that will make some sense from some angle, but it cannot again be done through a levy that is as high as 3% of somebody's pay. So in terms of, are we bridging the gap between the poor and the rich? I do not think so. After all, we are told everyone who contributes will own a house. So if I'm rich, I have 7 houses, I'm going to get an 8th house. So still, the gap has not been bridged. That's what I say.
All right, now that is your camera, and I want you to tell us, the first hearing is beginning tomorrow. What do you look forward to?
I look forward to robust discussions in Parliament. I look forward to seeing our MPs discussing issues, discussing the memorandums that not just ISPAC has given. Several organizations I know have given memorandums, specific issues. The housing levy, not outstanding. That's I think the one issue that have been spoken a lot, but there are several other issues. We spoke about the issues with giving a deposit to appeal when appealing. We've also spoken of issues of fertilizers, for example. We are told they are now exempt, which is welcome move, but we expect them to be zero rated, because that way the farmer will then benefit more. So those are the kind of discussions that we expect to see in Parliament, and ultimately we expect that the finance bill will be amended and passed with those contentious issues out, so that we can have more time to discuss as a nation and always bring them back when we are all comfortable.
All right, thank you so much. That is Wycliffe Bichang, and Wycliffe, we're looking forward to having you again after that presentation of that finance bill to Parliament tomorrow. I don't know if you think it will pass and what will happen, but we're looking forward to bringing you back here to back it up and to find out what has happened post its presentation. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you.
All right, we're taking a very short break right here. We're coming back with sports, so stay with us.
So it's not the duty of the prosecutor to investigate. The prosecutor will only evaluate the evidence that has been brought forth by the investigative agencies. And that's why we criminal law practitioners take advantage. Yeah, because you know, you are here arguing this case with me, but you did not investigate.
You don't know what are the details
Yes.
in this particular case.
Yeah.
Hello everybody! I'm Nena. And I'm Gigi. Welcome to Engine Season 2! The place to find out about the world we live in and the creatures that we share our planet with. Join us on the most exciting adventures across the African continent. See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes, and out of this world technologies. Meet incredible scientists and learn fantastic facts. Explore, discover, be amazed. Be part of the next generation of African change makers. Be a part of Engine, Africa's #1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day. Engine leads the way.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Now in sports news, Karim Benzema is set to leave the Spanish giants Real Madrid after 14 years at the club. He leaves as one of the greatest and most decorated players to ever play for the club. Benzema in his time at Madrid won a total of 25 trophies, including 5 Champions League titles, 4 La Liga crowns, 3 Copa del Rey, and the prestigious Ballon d'Or to grace his personal achievements. Benzema leaves Madrid as the second all-time goal scorer with a goal tally of 354 goals and 138 assists. Finally, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has announced his retirement from Barcelona and PSG, among others. All right, that's enough for KUTV Primetime News. Many thanks indeed for keeping us company. Be sure to join SAMMY, OKELLO and I tomorrow again for the conversation in the state of the nation. Of course, the finance bill will still be taking center stage tomorrow. Its first presentation hearing will be made in Parliament tomorrow. We'll be having that conversation. Now, we can as well continue with this conversation. Remember, it doesn't end here on our social media platforms at KUTV_Kenya. That is on YouTube, on Facebook, and at Twitter. Have a good night and see you tomorrow.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV